welcome to another episode of the Tenerife Pod, sponsored by BGR Solutions. I am your host, Jenny T, with my co-hosts. We have Steve Ballard.
Pip, pip, what ho?
Hello there. And we have Chris Elkington.
Hello?
Tenerife's most hated man.
Oh.
Is that how we should introduce you from now on?
Allegedly,
Yeah.
allegedly, after
yeah.
last week, but that's fine. I'm just gonna clarify one thing.
Tell
all
me.
right? I need to change a word, so if I say it, then pick me up on it. When I say it's funny, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't mean it's funny.
You don't mean it's humorous?
I mean it's ironic.
Yes.
So I'm going to change the word to it's ironic, isn't it?
Okay, that's
But if I say it's funny, will you just say, do you mean ironic? Is
Okay.
that right? Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
I
right?
need
absolutely.
like a
Absolutely.
buzzword.
And also,
buzzword.
awesome track from Alanis Morissette in the 90s.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it?
Ironic.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I got it already.
Who's that comedian that quite famously points out that nothing that she suggests in the song is actually ironic? Ironically.
Yes, there was that.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. It's not
It's
irony,
just-
it's just coincidence.
Just kind of bad-looking coincidence, yeah.
Anyway.
So welcome to another episode of the Tenerife Pod. Yes, we all, I think, shall we use the word viral? Our last one went kind of crazy. But we're back and we are here with your usual bits and bobs for the Tenerife Pod. And I want to start with you, Steve.
Okay.
One of everybody's favourite topics, it's weather. Bit of a delayed one there, but yeah, let's go for it. What's occurring with the weather lately, Steve?
Well, as you may or may not know, officially by the calendar, June the 1st is summer.
Oh.
So by the calendar, it's summer, but also by the weather,
Yeah.
it's pretty summer, I would have to say. We've had real stability, I want to say, in terms of sunshine, not really anything in the way of clouds. There's certainly no rain in the forecast for the next 2 weeks, as far as I can see, for what we can accurately predict in the first couple of weeks. Temperatures are going to be mid to high 20s, possibility of creeping into those 30s.
Lovely.
Which is nice. There have been some weather warnings over the last couple of days for rough seas. So again, a reminder, check in those flags when you go to the beach. If you are walking coastal paths or anything like that, please take extra care and just be aware of your surroundings and don't take any risks. People taking photographs and selfies and all that kind of thing are getting themselves in trouble. So just be aware of your surroundings if you're out and about.
You can take them.
No, of course.
You can,
but don't put
not
yourself
on the
in
edge,
any...
not
Yeah,
on the rocks on the edge.
exactly.
That's the thing.
So there's too many people. There was a guy last week actually on Fania Bay who was fishing on one of the breakwaters and was swept off the breakwater into the sea.
Wow.
He was not badly injured, but the ambulance arrived, the police were there and everything else. So again, it's just an advisory. If you're going to do activities like that, double check the flags and make sure you don't put yourself at risk. There was some high wind warnings. They've now gone. So we're back to, again, more stability. But yeah, temperatures looking like they're going to creep up to the high 20s.
Have they actually gone? Because they were extended, weren't they?
They were. I think they're gone today. The last one finishes at midnight tonight.
Okay.
Which is Thursday at the time of recording
Yes.
this, for anybody that's listening.
Which leads on to, when I talk about the 30 degrees, we talk about the 330s, which is the conditions that are ideal, unfortunately, for forest fires. So again, I'll repeat it. It's humidity of under 30%, temperatures of 30 degrees or more, and wind speeds of 30 kilometres or higher. That is prime for the causation of forest fires.
And
but
for it to spread.
Exactly. The Canary Islands government officially activated its 2026 forest fire prevention campaign. More than 2,000, this is in the Canaries, not just Tenerife, more than 2,500 emergency personnel and 19 aircraft are ready for the summer season. This year's campaign includes around 100 more personnel than there was last year, alongside 202 wildfire engines and 19 aerial resources. That's one of the biggest additions for 2026, which is a third helicopter, which is based in El Hierro, alongside the existing GES emergency helicopter.
Which is interesting because people don't realise that the planes that scoop down and collect the water aren't based in the
No,
Canaries.
that's right.
Okay.
Those aerials are all helicopters that obviously go to either the sea or the reservoirs and pick water up to dump it. But the actual planes that scoop the water from the sea have to come from mainland Spain.
Yeah.
So, but there is a campaign obviously to have one or two based here.
Yeah.
But as you can imagine, they cost an absolute fortune.
The campaign also really some cool stuff coming. So more 3 brand new lightweight fire engines that carry 2,300 litres capacity of water. And they've now also got a fleet of 23 drones used for surveillance and prevention work. So picking out hotspots and picking out things.
Yeah, because they all have thermal imaging.
That's right, the thermal imaging cameras. So it's
do
really
you think this will be like enough? Do you think it's going to have a massive effect, like compared to last year and previous years, where it seems like, to me, again, not somebody that's as up to date as you guys perhaps are with this, but it seems like when the fires spread, even those planes carrying the water, it's like
it's
a drop in
prevention.
the
It's
ocean
prevention. It's
to-
being ready as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you can catch it and contain it while it's small, then obviously it's a much easier situation.
The whole idea.
Absolutely. The main ones that have caused, particularly a couple of years ago, the most devastation are where they've just grown out of control that quickly that you can't react quick enough. So this plan, or the emergency services being on standby, is for the next 4 months.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready for the next 4 months for a call at any moment in time that could, mean they have to drop everything and go and do forest fires.
And the project itself is more about being proactive than reactive,
Yeah.
because obviously,
Correct.
when you've in the situation of fire's already started, these teams are going to be there, and those drones are going to be doing things to double check where the conditions are most likely to try and cause a forest fire, to be more proactive than reactive. So it's nipping it in the bud before it starts. Also, the usual stuff that happens at the start of summer, when they talk about barbecue areas, they talk about littering, they talk about cigarette ends, all of that, all the dangerous stuff. So the campaign is out there and ready to go.
But also, don't forget, Jen, these can also be started by arson and also be started by machinery. So people using things like angle grinders, not obviously up in the forests, but in areas, industrial areas that have, scrubland close by. It only takes a few sparks from an angle grinder or something mechanical, and it starts it off. So it's a variety of things. It's not only the leisure activities, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess it's going to be one of those, isn't it, where if you don't really hear of anything, it's kind of work. There's not going to be any news of like, hey, there's no fires, or
they wouldn't. You wouldn't get the headline. By the way, there was no fire. How many? They got a countdown. 20 days, no fires. It wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
So, but if you get to August and you haven't heard anything, I think that's a success.
I think if they get to the end of the season, then definitely they should all commend themselves, because obviously, anybody who's been up to Mount Tady and through the Corona forests will know that you can still see signs of devastation, not just from the last one, but from 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes years and years and years for the palm trees to recover.
Oh, well, right. Fingers crossed then. No news is good news.
Absolutely.
If we don't hear much more about that, then it's worked. Let's go on to some news, because some huge things are happening in Tenerife and elsewhere. Of course. I think something we have to touch on today is the big news about the Pope arriving.
Yeah.
So how do we all feel about this?
Do you know what? I think, I'm quite happily agnostic. I don't have a religion. I was brought up Catholic in some way when I was at school, singing hymns on the parquet floor and doing all that kind of stuff in assembly. But I didn't really take on religions as such. But the Pope is one of those figures that is intriguing to people who maybe aren't that of faith, but as a figurehead of the Roman Catholic Church, he's quite an interesting character, and I think it's interesting that
not only
he's
that,
coming
we have to
visit.
remember we live in a Catholic country.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of the influences here are South American, which is also Catholic, and Italian, which is also Catholic.
Yeah.
So, respecting the fact we live in a country that is... I remember obviously Pope John Paul II visiting the UK, and it was a huge deal, even in the UK.
Really?
Absolutely. And the Pope-mobile was one of an iconic pictures. In fact, they're making a Pope-mobile for his visit to the Canary Islands.
What does this consist of?
Basically, he has to have a bulletproof bubble
right.
for him to stand in on the back of a car. So obviously, when he drives past, he can wave to people. But it has to be bulletproof, protected, all the rest of it.
Do you in regards status-wise and protection-wise, are we up with their presidency?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The security to be very high, as if it was a royal visit or a state visit by. He is a head of state technically. Vatican City is a country in itself.
Yep. You can always understand the people that might want to harm a certain president, but who would be trying to harm the Pope? Or the religions and that kind of thing?
Who knows who's out there?
Extremists, extremists of any, those sorts of figureheads, especially ahead of an organisation such as the Catholic Church, does attract its detractors, I want to say, and its critics. So yeah, there will be potentially people out there who
Let's also not forget that he's also visiting mainland Spain. He's not only coming to the Canary Islands. It's huge he's coming to the Canary Islands.
Because this is the first visit from the Pope.
It's the first visit from the Pope. It's not his first time here. He's been here before
Doesn't
he was
have
Pope.
Family here, I've read.
I'm not sure about that. I know the Augustine monks or that kind, that sect. He came here in the 80s. And stayed in Puerto La Cruz.
No way.
He also did a camper van trip from Pamplona to Madrid. It's well documented. But there's still one member of staff in the monastery in Puerto La Cruz who's still there. And I think it's one of the cleaners who's still there. And apparently he said he wants to see her and say hello to her, and because he came here when he was
from the 80s. Yeah.
It's costing 25 million for his visit to Spain.
Right.
Not just it's 3 million. It's costing the taxpayer 3 million euros to come to Spain, the Canary Islands, and obviously he's visiting here and Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
But they claim it's going to put 150 million euros into the Spanish economy, just his visit. Now, yesterday there was an absolute cavalcade in Gran Canaria of national police vehicles. There's 170 vehicles, and when you see them, it's not just cars and vans. These look like proper army. You know, the ones you see with the 4 big wheels on each corner that you know, in the movies, battering building, all that sort of thing. It looked amazing with loads of staff, and they're obviously already preparing for road closures and where his route, and obviously when he arrives, where he arrives, and his transferal from Gran Canaria to Tenerife, etc. And, I mean, I know a few people, Jenna, are a little bit like, why are the schools shut?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to keep an eye on this for personal reasons, because things like the school, obviously there needs to be plans in place if the kids are having an extra day of school.
And isn't it only a week before they break up?
Yeah. It is literally 1 week. But originally, what I read about a few weeks ago was the fact that they were only going to shut areas where the Pope was going to be. Yeah. But now, obviously, it's just kind of generalised.
Steve will explain why, won't you, Steve?
So the advice to the people in those areas that are going to be affected, particularly roads and things like that,
Santa Cruz.
It's to do with keeping as much movement as possible by saying to people, and they've asked companies where possible to have their staff work from home. Yeah. So if you can remote work from home, then do that. Of course, we've had this before.
And just quickly, none of them need encouragement to have a day off, by the way. They're like,
they're more than happy. The good thing is, though,
even
the bosses of these companies, I think they're more than happy to be like, day from home.
But they also want to go and see him.
Yeah.
Because he's doing a blessing here, isn't he? You've got his schedule.
I've got the schedule. Do you want me to?
I was just going to say the reason for that, of course, and we've done this before when the schools are closed for weather, is there's a vast majority of teachers who live in that area. So getting in and out during the Pope's visit is going to become extremely difficult. So teachers who live in the north are going to be affected. So it is just easier for logistics to say we're closing the schools in the south as well.
And in such a Catholic country, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for people to go and see him and be part of the ceremony, part of the blessing.
And actually, people who visit St. Mark's Square and people who go to the Vatican just want to be in his presence. They don't even want to shake hands with him or anything.
Have you been?
I've never been.
I have. I've been to the Vatican.
I was going to say, my mum and dad have visited, and they just said, from a spiritual point of view, they're not very Catholic either, but from a spiritual point of view, it feels different. It's just got an aura to it, and I think it's just to be in this guy's presence. And of course, he seems like a really cool guy as well.
He's kind of
from
like
Chicago.
The cool Pope, isn't he?
He's American, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Chicago originally, and he's a baseball fan. He's quite a lot younger than some of the other popes who've been in the past.
Which means he's probably going to be around for a while.
Exactly. So, as in terms of a head of state and head of the Catholic Church,
I think it's interesting because Pope John Paul II, who was Polish, obviously, was really the first one, and primarily because of television and things in those, and the media sort of growth in those days, was the first one who really became a global recognised figure as a pope. Yeah. Yeah. Before him, it was kind of just a Vatican or a more self-contained thing, but the ones ones since obviously have become world figures, and obviously this guy is going to be around for a long time. So
I feel like he's making waves in the Pope world. So obviously he's in Gran Canaria.
There's a theme park.
That sounds like, I'm not sure it's going to be a great theme park. The rides aren't very good.
I reckon if anywhere could make it work, I reckon we could do something here.
The splash park's just holy water.
It's actually genius. Someone's listening right now writing these ideas down, copyrighting them. You wait. Pope Land. So first, obviously, he's visiting Gran Canaria on the 11th of June, and he's over in Tenerife on the 12th of June. So I've got on this list at 9:30 on the 12th of June. First of all, can I ask how he's getting from Gran Canaria to Tenerife? Is he like bintering it? Is he like popping on a binter?
I think you'll find it's a ferry.
Well, like a Fred Olsen?
Not really. A bit private jet.
Will it?
Yeah, of course.
It's not very environmentally friendly, is it? Okay, 9:30, meeting with the migrants of the Las Raíces Centre. And at 10:10, so that's a quick turnaround, isn't it? Meeting with the realities of migrant integration in the Plaza del Cristo de la Laguna. Yeah. And then the big one, 12:15, the Holy Mass in the port of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Right. And then at 2:30, the farewell ceremony.
And I think they're limiting it to 60,000 people.
I think they are, yeah.
Is it 60,000?
Yeah, for the Mass.
And you
limiting it to 60,000.
Yeah, because you had to apply for this, right? And I've heard the insane figures.
People something like 300,000 have applied. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because there are, don't forget, the Canary Islands in general. So there'll be the other islands as well who'd be interested in coming over
and from other countries.
This figure that we talk about attracts people who want to come and visit and want to be again in his presence and attend the Mass. I also assume that television will be covering all of that.
Even if they're on the side of the, not being funny, you saw many people turn out for an open top bus for a football team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're going to be lining the streets to see the Pope. That's why they have the Pope-mobile.
The Pope-mobile.
And literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands will be lining the streets, which is why it's such a big security operation.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm sure after it's done, there'll be lots to talk about after the Pope's been and gone. If you are going,
and Your Holiness, if you're watching, you can come on the pod if you want. We'd accept you as a guest.
I'll let you do that.
Ask some serious questions.
Would we get criticised for that one?
Probably.
You can be interviewed by the most hated man in the Canary Islands.
He can forgive you, Chris.
No, only Tenerife.
Let's move
shall we?
Oh, dearie me.
Okay, let's get into just some news of the week. So we don't want to go too much into detailed stuff here, but a few things that have made... I spat on myself then. Oh. Lovely. It's right while the camera's on me.
We got that on camera, yeah.
Ew. Sexo. I want to touch on a few things that have made the headlines this week in the news. The first drop in foreign tourism since the pandemic.
Yeah, really interesting. 8.3% drop of international arrivals. The British market has
international arrivals, could you just make sure everybody is aware you're saying international arrival, because the comments have just been, well, you've got anti-British tourist thing.
Well, just to clarify, and the reason why they class it as international or foreign is because obviously we have domestic tourism from mainland Spain, so it's not taking into account that. This is international arrivals from the different markets. The biggest drops were from Germany and Scandinavia.
Oh, okay.
The British market was really, really small. It was actually, a small drop, not small in numbers. It was actually still the biggest market. The numbers were pretty consistent. I think it was something like 0.8% drop. Some of the Scandinavian countries, the figures have dropped by 25, 30%.
Wow.
Overall, it was an 8.3% drop. I think more, not worryingly, but concerned is that it was the only major holiday destination in the whole of Spain to see a drop. Everywhere else had an increase. But obviously that is because it can be longer to get here. We already have high numbers in April, whereas other places aren't open properly yet. So obviously they have lower numbers.
I keep hearing though, and I feel like I've heard this all year from artists and singers on the island, bar owners, people that work behind bars. It's so quiet. It's just so quiet. Everywhere is so quiet. And I don't remember or recall in the past few months hearing anyone go, do you know what, it's been really busy, it's been great.
Well, you say that, but I think the places that have been traditionally busy are still busy.
You think?
But is there enough to go around everyone? Because let's be honest, there's a lot more bars than there used to be. There's a lot more bars doing entertainment than there used to be. But also a lot more hotels doing entertainment than they used to. We've gone from sort of the pre-pandemic and all-inclusive situation where there was no entertainment, so people wanted to go out to be entertained. Now the hotels, a lot of the artists themselves are performing
in hotels,
hotels on big stages with big screens in big environments. So the market's changed. The trend has changed, but the actual visitor figures of people coming here, now the Brit market is still the biggest, so the Brit market is obviously predominantly supporting that entertainment scene and the sort of, the scene that we know. But when you look at a lot of the other nationalities, they're not drinking in those places.
Yeah.
They're either in hotels or different venues. But you've had your favourite headline, haven't you,
I
Steve,
have
on the back of this?
I've got to say it because, as usual, the Penny Dreadfuls have been on this straight away.
Penny Dreadfuls is about 30 years out of date.
I know,
I don't
but
even understand it. Why is it a penny dreadful?
So
they used to cost 1p.
Yeah.
What, the newspapers,
yeah. And they are dreadful. Anyway.
Do you want to know something interesting?
Yeah, always.
Right, so, I don't know if you know this, and this is actually... Sorry, Steve, to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
But the price of a newspaper was always dictated by the price of a cup of coffee.
Yes.
So they would base the price of the newspaper as the same as buying a cup of coffee. So as prices through the years went up, so newspapers went up from 15p to 20p to 80p to £1, that's because coffee prices were going up, and it was the same price. Now there's not as many physical copies and they've got monthly subscriptions. Obviously they've had to change it. Because you can't, a cup of coffee, how much is a cup of coffee in England now?
Must be a £5.
You can't have a £5 a day and charge 150 quid a month for a newspaper subscription. But that's where it comes from, Jen. And originally they were called, they cost 1p. And obviously they were, and because
the tabloids were specifically the
they were known as the Red Tops, the Sun, the Mirror, the
World,
and then obviously the Penny Dreadfuls, and that's Steve's.
That's
your favourite phrase, isn't it?
Because they are dreadful. Anyway, the Daily Express came up with the headline. Here we go. Panic in Canary Islands as tourists abandon Tenerife, Lanzarote and Gran Canaria. The archipelago has seen a significant drop in foreign tourists for the first time in over half a decade.
Steve, if you were auditioning for them, you would be given the job immediately.
Thanks. I know.
That was
incredible. If we get nominated for a podcast award, I'd like to thank my parents and
But I just put it in the teas, aren't we? Podcast award.
Let's not suggest that, Jen. Jesus.
But when I saw this morning, I just went, for sake, because.
There's no need.
Emily Wright, World News reporter, I'm coming for you. She writes for the Daily
And the British
Express.
market hasn't dropped.
But
British figures are not affected in a big number.
And the comments on this, that's because we're all going to Greece. Fine, let me tell you as well, in some more news, the EU Commission has said to Greece, you can't switch off your machines in the airport.
Yep.
So if you think going to Greece is going to stop the queues, see you next year.
I mean, on a serious note, the tourism authorities are tracking it. It is something, obviously, they want to keep an eye on because, they don't want to see a big drop. But why is it happening? Obviously, transport costs, travel costs, the war in the Middle East. There's a lot of different outside things. But also, just quickly, sooner or later, numbers have to drop.
I was about to sort of go on to that in a way, because haven't we seen post-pandemic the numbers are increased to more than pre-pandemic numbers? So if you like, if the numbers here... But pre-pandemic, obviously the pandemic wiped it out. And the numbers just went... So
we've gone from 15.4 million to 18 million.
Just seeing...
This year they predicted 19 million. That's probably dropped a little bit.
So are we not just seeing the dust settling, if you will?
It's like a plateau.
Just going,
And also, don't forget that pre-pandemic, we talked about it before, there was always different times of the year that were quieter.
Yeah.
And May was one of them.
Yeah.
May was always a quieter time. Easter has never been a big time for the Brits. It's always been a massive time for Spanish tourism in the south of the island. But, it is just, I suppose, getting back to normality.
Yeah.
I think I said it before, it's when all the gateways open, so Greece. And
Absolutely,
actually,
other destinations,
There's so many more options to choose from. Okay, cool. Thank you for addressing that. In other news, the Canaries government have introduced new support measures for self-employed people. One of the things being covering social security costs for those on sick leave.
Yeah, there's autonomous or self-employed.
Yeah.
Anybody who's self-employed will always tell you they feel hard done by the government as far as unemployed payment or sick leave, etc. because it is very, very favourable towards employees rather than self-employed.
And if you're self-employed, is it one of those you don't work, you don't earn?
Correct.
Essentially.
Yeah, but there are several new measures, and this is just one of them. I mean, the Canaries is the only place that has a threshold of €50,000 before you have to pay IGIC or do IGIC, which is obviously VAT.
Yeah.
So that's a positive. But this one is up to €700 a month of your social security payment. Initially for the first 2 months, and then obviously after 2 month period, it has to be justified by, your mutual, your backer, your etc.
Yes.
But it is a step in the right direction. So you can see the other measures. We've got them on the article on Canarian Weekly, but they are actually physically coming, and also this one is also retrospective back to the 1st of January.
Okay.
So if you were off sick as a self-employed person before now, you can claim the money via your Histor.
And is it going to be something that, okay, they pay it for you and then forget about it, or are they coming for you when you're well again and they want it back with some interest and your firstborn and kidney?
Do you happen to be talking about the money we've all had taken off us for COVID? Is that something you're...
Well, I just feel like...
Because I'm one of them who's had thousands.
They do seem to be a habit of self-employed people that I know going, it was brilliant to have help through COVID because we really needed it because business was affected. Yep. But now you're coming back for it because you said we shouldn't have had it.
So, I mean, it's common knowledge, myself and John, both in this office, are self-employed, and we've both had thousands. Yeah. Now, you have to pay it and then claim it back. All right? So, in our situation, our Histors via lawyers, etc., are obviously counteracting it and putting in an appeal, etc., etc., etc. I know one of the appeals is we've actually won, so we've had a little bit back. But yeah, you actually physically have to pay for it first, and if you can't afford to pay for it, you have to pay for it monthly.
Yeah, so the government basically said, we're taking this money back off you anyway, regardless of whether you're owed it or not. But then it's up to you to prove that you were owed it in the first place.
No, it's not a case. It's not a case of whether or not you should have had it. It's a case of there were. Coming out of COVID, in each quarter, there was a different amount of your previous year's earnings that you could invoice for and still maintain the help.
Right.
So, for example, initially, you were, you could own, for example, only invoice 50% of what you did before and still get the help.
Right.
Then it dropped to 25%. Then it dropped to 10% over a period of time, obviously, as the economy opened. Yeah. But there are people who just went invoice crazy and were earning and still claiming. Right. And these terms were printed in the BOC, in the Bulletin Official, and obviously that's what you have to prove. You have to prove that your invoices weren't over the amount and so on. So it's not as simple as just saying you had it, we're having it back. It's not that simple. Right. But unfortunately, being self-employed, nothing is clear cut and simple as much as it is as being employed. Yeah. But that's the way of the world, isn't it?
So it could potentially be a similar situation with this new... No,
okay. Because this is different. This is sick pay, only paying your social security. If you're on the backer, you've got a mutual, and if you have to go to the doctors, if you're off for more than a certain period of time, you have to prove it with a doctor's note.
I actually don't 100%
it's the same. It's the same
because I'm an
ideal
principle. Employee, as you well know.
That's true. That's true, Jen. 100%.
Employee of the month, right there.
When are we going to do that? Right, something that we have to... like a Abby Lee Miller dance moment, like pyramid thing. Right, let's move on to something that we just need to address. So, Steve, I don't know if you saw the last pod. We obviously had a special about the Weddings in Tenerife drama, the chaos that's been caused. We had Lars from Weddings in Tenerife on the pod. And yeah, lots of people have had a lot to say about it. I know you've got some info over there.
I've only got notes so that I don't forget anything or I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah? So yes, I've got some notes purely because I want to make sure I get it right. What I say I get right. Yeah? But you're right. People have questioned, attacked the business and, me personally, but I don't mind that. I'm not disregarding it. But I've been dealing with this sort of thing for 25 years. Yeah. It's been my job for 25 years, before social media. So, I know why we had him on, and I'll come on to that. But people have got every right to give their opinion.
Of course, yeah.
I've got no issue with that. But at the same time, that means we have the right to reply.
Sure.
or right to defend ourselves. Now, obviously, as it was going out, people were very angry and accused us of deleting comments.
Yes.
Which you and I discussed, Steve.
Yeah.
But just to clarify, that was actually a meta filter. It wasn't us. If anyone who's got their own business page, you can set it not just for swearing or profanity or abuse, but you can also, so that if a profile doesn't have a profile picture or doesn't have any friends, which we all know those are the ones that people set up to hide behind.
Yeah, yeah, that is a social media thing for, like you said, for business pages. It's exactly what happens. And, you know, those filters are there for a reason. It is to prevent trolling. It's to prevent anybody from abusing businesses. It's to prevent lots of things from going onto your page. They're also, it's a security measure to prevent hacking as well, because the majority of those who have been hacking tend to be setting up profiles in order to do that and access other people's profiles and making sure that they're anonymous. It's also the easiest way to comment on things is to just set up a blank profile.
Absolutely.
People have used it for nefarious reasons as well, like stalking and things like that, where I can't use my profile.
Yeah.
I'll set up a new one. Obviously, that's where these no friends business comes from.
Sure.
And no profile pictures. And Meta will automatically filter those out if it's set
Of
like
course.
that.
Now, obviously, I understand why people were angry. All right. Now, obviously, people. I do believe that several or most of them that were attacking, if you like, had probably only seen that pod, because we've kept our position very clear from the start of this awful situation, which is, you know, we explained our position. We said we are going to take a neutral and objective standpoint. We will not get the brides or couples into the studio until we had more proof or something to substantiate any claims. Either way. And also because a lot of the younger brides are all over TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, UK press, all over the place. So now, don't forget, we did not expect Weddings in Tenerife to contact us.
No.
We didn't at all, but they did. So we made the decision to get Lars on after speaking to him, because everyone said they couldn't contact them, and they wanted to. So, because they'd disappeared, left the island, done a runner. So, but we had contact. So obviously, we got him in the studio to try and get more information, try and answer some questions, try and find out what was going on. But if we hadn't, we would have also been in the wrong, wouldn't we?
Of course. Like, it's one of those, isn't it? You wouldn't have been
Damned if you do.
Yeah, damned if you do, damned
yeah.
if you don't. We wouldn't have been able to win.
But I also need to clarify something else, and this is the claims that people are putting online, that Lars and me are friends. All right? Now, on Monday, Jen, the podcast, was only the second time I've ever met Lars.
Right.
Which will surprise a lot of people, probably you too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't deal with advertisers. We have a commercial department. I've got advertisers, or we've got advertisers in our business that I've never met.
Yeah.
I've never met your sponsors from Dreamers. Obviously I knew Rob and his family who had it previously, but the new guys, I have no idea what their names are and who they are. But, so, you know, I don't know how people are taking that standpoint that we treated him how we did because he's a friend is rubbish. The fact we treated him how we did was because he's an advertiser is rubbish. If we'd gone gung-ho and gone all Piers Morgan, nobody would have had any information whatsoever, because people clam up. Everyone knows psychologically.
No, I think if you had gone Piers Morgan or any of those aggressive interviewers, he'd have just walked out the door and you'd have got nothing out of him.
He would have been well within his right to just get up and walk away.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, we would have never been able to ask the questions that...
There's a way of doing that, isn't
well,
there?
both of you interview people regularly,
Yeah.
and you know that the first thing is to put your guest at ease, regardless of who they are. Because the one thing you want the guest to do is talk.
Yeah.
And in this situation, we wanted him to talk. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone was going to agree with what he said.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're going to agree with everything he said. We don't. But at the same time, we had to give chance for him to say his thing, and also try and get some answer for some of the couples. And I've got to say, there is some good that's come out of this. I mean, I've been dealing with over a dozen of the brides and couples affected over the last 3 days, directly, speaking to them directly. And it's interesting as well that generally it seems to be people who aren't actually related to brides or have a wedding booked who are criticising the loudest, which I find ironic, not funny, ironic.
Yeah.
But so talking to the ones I spoke to, some of those questions that they originally had or wanted to ask have changed since Lars was on the pod.
Okay.
Because they believe that some of them feel their questions have actually been answered, which is good.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they all have, but some of the questions they have now been answered. Now, however, there are obviously now new questions, but these would not have arisen if we hadn't had him in, and that's why we did it, wasn't it, Jen?
Yeah, 100%. And I when you told me that we were having Lars in, we had like less than a day to prepare. I personally prep my interviews, like, you know what I'm like, I'm a prepper, and I went through so many Facebook posts, and I actually literally took people's comments that said, what I want to know is this, and I was like, right, well, that's what I'm going to ask. And so what I had lined up was literally the questions that people wanted the answers to. And I think you may not have got the answer that you wanted, but the question was asked.
Yeah,
exactly. So, you know, now also we've been also talking to other wedding planners and celebrants who would prefer to remain nameless.
Yep.
And I don't blame them. They don't want to be quoted. They've got enough on their plates. Interestingly, all of them have said, you know, they're being told, oh, I bet you're getting good publicity out of this. They're all like, we don't need the publicity. We're busy enough already. We just want to help these people out, which obviously is what it's all about. And they've taken over some of the weddings that are happening in the near future, because it seems that the brides or the couples fall into different categories. I mean, obviously, there's some whose weddings were 2028 or late 2027 who haven't been as financially affected as people nearer.
Yeah.
So they've kind of said, look, we know we're going to have to wait for our money. We know we're going to have to go through a legal process to claim it. We're not interested in venting our frustrations or our opinion. We just want to be able to get on with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I respect that, and that's obviously something. One of the things we have done is we've managed to return belongings to several of the brides as well. So there were several suitcases of stuff that people have had sent over from not just the UK, a couple in Chicago, talking of the Pope, which is an Indian wedding, but they're from Chicago, and I mean, you saw all the cases and boxes for them in the office. And, you know, we've managed to obviously give those back to those people, so there's some of the stuff they've paid for, they've got back. Got to mention as well, we had one celebrant come in who asked about, you know, some stuff for a wedding that she's doing. I think I know it's in the next couple of weeks at one of the hotels in Fanny Bay, Costa Rica, and Lars and Claire had actually returned that themselves straight after the podcast. They went down and delivered all that stuff to reception of the hotel with obviously list all supplies, etc., etc., etc. Much to the surprise of the celebrant who came in. Okay. I must be honest, she even turned around and said, I'm shocked, but fair play to them. So, and that's not my words, that's hers. All right, so there has been some good come out of it. Now, I've also been advising, obviously, some of them on how the process of the claims is going to take place. Now, we mentioned that there is a lot of chargebacks taking place. Yeah. I've just had a copy of the amount up until the end of May, because obviously they get a statement accordingly. And up until the 31st of May, there's 78,500. Obviously, there's more, but obviously we're on the 4th of June now, so those chargebacks, the extras, because we said it was about 85,000, fall into that. Now, I spoke to Wix, because there's a question over when or not people are going to get their money back. The chargebacks have been granted. Now, like Revolut, like Wise, like any of these payment processes, when you are in a dispute, the minimum amount of time it can take is between 30 and 40 days before you get your money back. Normal circumstances where there's something like this, where there's maybe a legal dispute, can take up to 3 months. All right, which obviously isn't going to help the people who've got a wedding in the near future. But because there is an insolvency process taking place and a bankruptcy taking place in court, they will get the money.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, I'm not going to go into individual cases about the brides, because we have got 3 coming in on Monday.
Wow, okay.
2 coming in, 1 on the phone.
Yeah.
All right? And I don't want to say their situation. I don't want to answer their questions. I want them to ask you their questions and for you to chat to them so you, the public, can see what they've got to say. And that was the whole idea of doing it.
Yeah.
I know people aren't happy about it, but that's why we did it.
Yes.
So, frustrated?
Yeah, there was a lot of comments like, why would you do this? What you need to do is talk to the brides. And
of course.
We are. Like,
and that's why we put the message out on the post saying, we're now talking to the brides. Anybody who wants to come forward, and I have spoken to them personally. We sent them out an email asking certain questions just to clarify the position they're in. Because there's a fair few who they're saying, I've lost my €26,000 wedding. But they haven't paid €26,000 yet. They've only paid 5.5 or 10. And when I say only, I'm not dissing the amount. I'm just saying they haven't paid the full amount. Yeah? And the wedding isn't until next year. So they're going to have time to recuperate. They're not going to have to, there are weddings that have been cancelled. One of the people coming in on Monday, they've had to cancel it.
Yeah.
And, it's a terrible situation. And they say, do you understand the situation we're in? I said, yes. I understand the situation you're in. But I can't imagine the emotional stress you're going through. That's completely different because I'm not experiencing it. Yeah. And I think that's something you tried to get across with Lars, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that, and Lars even said it himself, he kind of apologised if he wasn't coming across as like maybe...
But people haven't taken that sincerely.
Yeah, but that was the word I'm looking for. Like maybe sincerity didn't come across. And again, this isn't defending them, but they're going through a rough time as well themselves. Like they've got a lot on their plate. So have the brides and grooms, and so have all their families and everything that's affected, absolutely. But I mean, yes, I think to take these people that have weddings coming up that are cancelled and stuff, because it's not just, bride and groom lose out on their day, or their family that have booked holidays that they're coming out to.
Absolutely.
Like it's all, yeah.
And then the rigmarole of claiming the money back and all the rest of it.
And reorganising and everything that comes with that.
But let's wait till Monday's pod
to
let the people who have been affected explain it themselves, because I could quite easily go into detail on a lot of cases, which I've had permission to do, but I don't want to because I want them to have their say, which is what the public want.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I will stand by is that because we had the opportunity to have Lars in the studio, we took it. I think it was the right decision. And speaking to the people affected one-on-one, they tend to agree.
Right. I was going to ask you, like, when you've been speaking to these bride and grooms, has it been like angry phone calls? What's the kind of like...
They've started off angry, yes.
Yeah.
They've started off angry, and I don't blame them. I understand why. But when obviously you listen and obviously discuss the situation and the reasons why, and, there's no point having a procession of people coming on here just to shout at their situation. Yeah? There isn't any point. It's not going to achieve anything, particularly because a lot of them are already on social media doing stuff already, yeah?
Yes.
But the ones we've got coming on are in real shit situations.
Yeah.
There are also 3 very different situations, all right, which I'd like to point out. Couples who live here, one is here on holiday, one on the phone from the UK. All their weddings are in the near future. And, they'll get the chance to say their thing. But I think once they've actually, because obviously their questions have changed, because yes, some of the questions were answered, it means that they're narrowing down what they want to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah? So whereas at first they had this many questions and this much confusion going on, that is now funneling. All right? And they're getting to a point they're actually starting to be able to create a direction or a path to take accordingly, knowing more information. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
And obviously, 100% appreciate that there are plenty of others who lost life savings.
Yeah.
They've had their dreams shattered, and more than anything else, the feedback I got is that they feel they've been left in the lurch. But again, we'll wait till they come in and we'll speak to them and let them answer their questions on Monday. But one of the things that really interestingly has come out of this is the question of wedding insurance. Now, I didn't know that. I wasn't really aware of wedding insurance, I must be honest.
No, because I've seen a few comments like against like these brides and grooms, like how stupid that they've not got wedding insurance. And I think weddings, first of all, is not something that, unless you are a wedding planner, it's not something you do every day. It's not something I don't know if it would be an automatic, but like, must get wedding insurance. I don't think I even understood that it was perhaps a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, interestingly, one of the situations that has arisen, And this isn't down to Weddings in Tenerife. This is weddings in general.
Yeah.
All right? And this is companies from the UK. Not all of them, but some of them. And some of the couples find themselves in this situation that they have taken out wedding insurance, and that obviously they've gone to put a claim in off the back of the cancellation and the email from, the insolvency. And the wedding insurance company are not paying out because they are paying a third party and not paying the hotel themselves, the entertainment themselves directly. So this wouldn't matter which wedding planner you're using. It could be using any wedding planner. But because they're not paying themselves directly, the wedding insurance company in their small print won't pay out. How disgraceful is that?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
The insurance business, going back to didn't know there was weddings insurance. Believe it or not, you can pretty much insure anything. So if you call an insurance company and say, I have something and I want to know if you'll protect me should anything go wrong with it, they'll quote you for it.
Sure, I get that.
So there is the ability to do that. You've also got insurances that you never had before. You can now insure concert tickets. So if there's Harry Styles cancels, you can claim all your money back for your trip and everything else. So the weddings, but as with everything, T's and C's, the small print. With these insurance companies,
I think more my question, and the question that obviously people involved in this, is how many people, I know obviously there's going to be a small percentage, but in general, how many people book a wedding themselves and pay everything themselves directly? I mean, I don't know how it works in the UK if you work with a wedding planner and they go, okay, this is the venue, you need to pay it directly. Or is it the same as over here where, in general, you pay everything to the wedding planning company and obviously they pay everything for you? But if they're paying everything for you, you can't claim anything back. Surely that's wrong.
Yeah, I think just on what I know for the last, let's say, 25 years. So I'm going to talk about my wedding, my brother's wedding, and my older brother's weddings. They were all planned, booked, and paid for by us. We didn't use a wedding planner because actually, when we all got married,
so if you'd done it and something had happened, you'd be able to insure it.
Yes, but I think it's because wedding planners is a relatively new thing.
I don't think it is.
Do you not?
No.
I just because
Yeah, but also, what are you insuring against if you're booking it yourself? What you're insuring against?
Yeah.
So you would insure.
You're insuring against the venue. I get that, and obviously other things. But I just think that it's a bit crap in this. This day and age.
One of the main reasons you'd want the wedding insurance is because you're using a wedding planner.
You've still got invoices.
Yeah.
You've still got.
There's still a paper trail.
There's still a paper trail.
Yeah.
It seems crazy to me that's a.
But I just thought it was something interesting that has come out that we found out about this situation.
There might be people listening to this pod at the moment that are thinking of or have been.
If you are getting wedding insurance, you've got to read the policy documents really carefully.
Ask
but also, I think. And I'm only saying this because
not all of them, by the way. It's not all of them.
But I think from dealing with specifically holiday insurance companies for things that have happened to people while they're on holiday, insurance companies don't like paying out, in my opinion.
Yeah, but also, Steve, I'm not being rude, but you do catering for, now and then, do catering for one of the wedding companies, one of the wedding planners.
Yeah.
Now, that means if a bride had paid that wedding company and you'd obviously done, say you as the caterer had gone bust, they wouldn't be able to claim the money because they didn't pay you directly.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Now, surely that's antiquated. Surely that's out of date.
Yeah, well, I think
that can't be right, can it?
Well,
I think it's a problem, but I think it's worth addressing, so that people that are listening or watching.
But I also think it's something positive that we've found out.
Yeah.
Because of this situation.
But isn't it?
Because I don't think we would have found it out otherwise, and I don't think a lot of other people would.
Gets married. At least we know.
Sod that.
I've been there, done that once. Not. But
I'm convinced not to. Honestly, it's too stressful.
But let's talk about the insurance thing very quickly though. So these parts of your wedding, for example, so you've got venue, you've got catering, you've got flowers,
dresses.
So there's multiple parts of that. Let's flip it on its head for a second. Holiday insurance.
Yep.
Package holiday insurance.
Yep.
You've got multiple things going on there. You've got hotels to book. You've got flights. You've got transfers.
Yep.
Thomas Cook
went bust.
They
did.
And yet the insurance companies that insure holidays were happy to pay out. I don't understand why weddings is any different in terms of moving parts.
Yeah,
it's just weird, isn't it?
It is a weird little clause, isn't it?
Think of how many people were affected by Thomas Cook going pop. I mean, that was a huge
did people book directly with Thomas Cook, who were protected, or did they book it
Well,
through
yeah,
a third
because you've
party?
also got you have
so
also,
say for example they booked it through Expedia
Yeah.
or something like that. Then I don't know, but this is the statement is that it's because it's booked through a third party.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, Chris. I think that insurance industry standard needs to change in terms of, because more and more people are clearly using these companies.
Yeah. And that's something else we can ask the ones who come in on Monday.
Yeah.
If any of those are any of them are in that situation or something they thought of.
Can I ask you one more question? A comment that I saw with your right to reply. The amount of money that you have earned from Lars coming on this pod.
Yep.
Can you give it to the couples at the weddings that have been affected?
Well, we haven't earned any money from the YouTube.
I know.
And this is something I've tried to explain to people before. And it's the same when I do the reels for Canarian Weekly. We're a news outlet. We're a media company. We're not a vlogger. We're not earning off videos there's no adverts in our videos. We've got adverts on our website, and we've got adverts on our radio station because yes, we sell those. But we haven't earned any money from that video, so I guess we could donate everything if there was anything there.
It's not going to leave anyone better.
And you know, and also there was one person who said apparently I've got a face they wouldn't get tired of punching.
Wow,
that's interesting, isn't it?
Physical violence.
But I can understand that. I you know, in the old days you used to have a face for radio, but these days you have to be on camera.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for clearing some of that up. And again, on the next pod, we will be having the brides and grooms in. So yeah, those that wanted it, make sure you tune into that. Let's go on to a last section, just quickly. Some events that are happening. There's one huge one.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you watch Britain's Got Talent final?
I'm not caught up with it. I'm gonna, but I'm not.
Do you know who won?
Wasn't it Jeremy Clarkson's Farms Choir?
It's not his choir. They're Hawkstone.
He was there though, weren't he?
They're the Hawkstone choir. Originally, he put an advert out for singers to form a choir for a Hawkstone beer advert. And when the farmers came together, they decided to carry on as a choir.
Right, okay.
So he's not taking credit for being the owner of the choir, but he did originally put an advert out for the beer, yeah. No, I just wondered because it seems that the public actually got that one right. Whereas 10 years ago, I think today or the next couple of days, it's the 10th anniversary of Brexit vote. So
yes,
I just thought
That's right.
it's the 10th anniversary of the Brexit vote. So thank you, people. It's 10 years since you decided that you have to do your 90, 180 days and everything else.
What's that got to do with Britain's Got Talent?
Because it's a public vote.
Oh, okay.
Because, let's be honest, the public normally get Britain's Got Talent wrong, let alone voting for Brexit.
Like I said, I haven't seen it, but didn't they get booed when they won or something?
No.
I didn't see that.
Oh, would have been one of your Penny Dreadful headlines.
Yeah, probably.
They were brilliant.
Without idea.
That's like an original song.
It did.
It didn't feel like an original song.
Oh,
It was
really?
great. No, all I was saying was the public normally get everything wrong. 10 years ago, they got it really wrong. But they actually got Britain's Got Talent right. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Okay, fair enough. Right, I've been talking on the radio this week how Rod Stewart is cancelling his gigs left, right, and centre.
Yeah, he's not very well, is he?
No, he's not. I mean,
he's 81.
He's not getting any younger, is he? I'm not. This isn't an exclusive. I don't know, but there might not be a chance to see him live again if he keeps going the way he's going.
Exactly.
So what could people do instead, Chris?
Well, they could, of course, come to the Auditorium Fanta Leonor on Saturday night for Rod and Tina.
Rod and Tina.
So Gary Pease, I don't know if you've seen him, but he actually is the spitting image of Rod Stewart. There's a picture of him and Rod Stewart together. Do you remember when we had the two Robbie Williams? And
yes,
you were like, wow,
that's right.
It's the same with him. Yeah, he's a bit younger mind. And his band are the Faces. And the other Gary, who's in the band, he has played guitar with some of, when I say Birmingham's biggest bands, Jen, you don't realise that back in the day, all the big rock bands like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all the rest, all came from Birmingham. It's a bit like the Manchester scene with Oasis and that. And he's played with all of them. He's phenomenal. And they are absolutely brilliant. Because as much as we love Jed, and we've had Jed on Tributo Fest
he's
before
been on stage,
as a support, obviously Jed only gets 45 minutes to do a show. So he has to do all certain big songs that people want. When you've got 90 minutes plus encores, you can really delve into the whole catalogue. And that's the beauty of these shows with the live bands. The main band gets to do everything. And I'm really looking forward to it because Tina Turner is fabulous. She's a huge bundle of fun and a ball of energy. She's done the Los Cristianos Carnival, load of festivals over here, all sorts of things. She came in studio the other day, actually. John met her for the first time. She's brilliant. And so you got Tina Turner first, and then Rod and the Faces afterwards. Still tickets available on Tributa Festival from our offices, and of course other sales outlets from €30.
And there's a special surprise. I'm talking about it on the radio like I know what it is because we're one big team. But like, there's weird stuff with you two. You're very secretive. People think that
there is a little surprise,
and no, we're not telling you what it is.
But I know more than I do when it comes to the teas, and I'm like, it's all top secret. People think I know whose laugh it is on your show. So I'm like, he won't talk to anybody.
Not even I know that.
Nobody knows. Only I know that.
And I don't know what the special surprise is for this.
Well, I know this surprise.
Well, that's good. I'm getting.
I don't know the laugh.
No.
In the same way as I don't know all the advertisers, for God's sake. But no, we have got something little special lined up alongside
really
the Rod
cool,
Stewart.
yeah.
So looking.
Say no more.
Really
Chris. Say no more.
Really
Say no
looking
more.
forward to
keep
it.
them. Keep them waiting.
And then not being funny. The next one.
Oh God.
I know it's not till October, but I've got to say it. We have been trying for more than 4 years to get Harry Cambridge, who is literally the world's #1 Luther Vandross, with a full band.
Wow.
It's taken 4 years to get a date. 4 years to get a date, and he's coming in October. And it's extremely special, and he's that busy because there isn't that many doing Luther Vandross.
Absolutely.
You know, people will turn around and go, oh yeah, there's a lot of Tina Turners and there's a lot of Queens and there's a lot of, there's hardly any Luther Vandross, and he is absolutely, or the whole band are absolutely phenomenal. So the next few that we've got lined up are really, really special.
Is there a case again if people are at the auditorium this Saturday, they can put their name down for tickets for that?
I'm sure if they want to, they can. We'd be quite happy for them to. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, but the tickets are on sale already. There's already a fair few sold for that one. They're on the same, obviously, on Tom Ticket as well. But regarding this Saturday, the doors open at 8 o'clock. The show starts at 8:30. We finish before 11. So come on down. You can buy tickets on the door if you want to leave it as a last minute decision, but we'd love to see you there because it's going to be a really good show.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Can I just mention one? It's that time of year, and I know I'm the only one with kids in school in this room at the moment, but it's that time of year where the kids are going to break up. So for anyone listening in the UK, the kids in Tenerife have like 12 weeks off. So I know you're thinking, no, you're far
Everyone's
too early.
favourite time of the year.
No, the kids break up on
it's like
the
half a
19th.
year, isn't it? Or it feels like it for the parents. Half a year off.
It's enough. It's enough. But yeah, teachers' school gifts.
Yeah.
Is this? I don't remember really giving my teacher gifts at the end of the school year.
No, we didn't.
It's kind of a thing now.
We're glad to see the back of them. To be fair,
we gave them.
I think it's it's an American thing. It's
very
like
much
baby
so.
showers and hen
Very
parties
much so.
and bachelorette parties. Anyway, so it's kind of a thing now. You need to get your kid's teacher a gift. And oh my God, last year I tried to organise a WhatsApp group, and I don't speak great Spanish. It was just a nightmare. I thought, I'm not doing that again. So I've seen a little event, and it's a teacher's gift workshop. So this Saturday in the afternoon, 6th of June,
Are you
3
going?
and 5. I've not booked in yet, but I think that it could be a really great idea. Like, you basically, the kids sit in...
Where is it?
It's in Chimichi.
Okay, just up the road, yeah.
So I had the details
Just past
on
San
my phone.
Isidro, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Talking of this sort of thing, Jen, how did your Canaries Day cutlery go?
They loved it. My daughter chose pink cutlery because,
Not yellow?
No, or blue or white. She wanted pink. And then juice. Do you know, my son's teacher made the mistake of just letting people choose in the end what they wanted, and there was just an entire table of juice. Everyone was so hydrated. Anyway, no, this teacher's gift workshop. So it's in Chimichi. The lady, I think it's Crafty by Kim, if you want to look for her on social media. But
Crafty Kim.
Your kids can make their own... like rulers or fridge magnets and stuff, and it looks quite cute. And there's sort of it looks like a little farm. You get to go and see the animals. There's going to be a little guided tour, and there's like a little play area. I thought it was a cute little idea.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I do love a fridge magnet though.
Do
Wherever I go, you have to get a fridge magnet.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
I went to when Ed Sheeran was on over here.
Yeah.
My sister decided to get married on the same day, so obviously couldn't go. And managed Steve to book Coldplay tickets in France.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so went with Tara and Sophia at the time, and we always had this thing where you have to get a fridge magnet.
Right.
Sophia, you can go and get the fridge magnet. Yeah, but what's fridge magnet in French? I said, it's magnet de fridge. Literally went up to the bloke and said, magnet de fridge? And he went, fridge magnet! Genuinely.
Close enough.
Just there.
That would do.
Really?
That would do the job.
Je voudrais un fridge magnet.
No, magnet de fridge.
Un magnet de fridge.
My nan collects fridge magnets, and like everybody gets her a fridge magnet. But she's 90, so you can imagine her fridge. Like it's in
How many fridges has she got?
She's going to need a whole new fridge for that.
Yeah. Right.
No, what I mean is though, if somebody made me a fridge magnet for a school teacher's gift, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, they're handy, aren't they? I feel like sticking stuff up. You all got to pop something on your fridge, and I'm always like having to throw things away because I need another magnet.
Kids' pictures.
It's a great idea. Get your teacher a fridge
You
magnet.
obviously haven't got kids, Steve. Kids' pictures are
right on the
they're
fridge.
crap.
I've got a piece of great advice.
Honestly,
that
they're
I read.
You don't put them on the fridge.
Because it's a hard one, isn't it, with your kids' pictures? Because you don't want to throw them. Have you ever been caught? Like your kids, like, why is that in the bin? Oh,
Must have fallen in.
So I
Fell off the fridge into the bin, yeah.
I heard a handy hint once, and it was like, just gift all their kids' pictures to their grandmas and their aunties and let it be their problem.
Palming it off. I
Genius.
like
What
a
that.
top
That
tip.
is genius.
Thank you very much
Top
for that.
tip. Is that what you
tip.
do?
Well, now, yeah, since I read that tip. Brilliant.
Use them as wrapping paper.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
My mum comes over and I'm like, I've got 4 months worth
Yes.
of pictures
Here's
for
a
you.
box of pictures.
You're welcome. Some of it's just a line on a piece of paper. Right. Anything else anyone wants to mention on the pod?
No, just thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. And on Monday, we will have 3 of the couples and brides from this situation here in the studio on the pod.
We'll catch you then. Thanks for listening.